Hey everyone, welcome to today's Explainer. So, today we're unpacking a concept that, honestly, it sounds almost too good to be true. I mean, just imagine it. Escaping the daily 9-to-5 grind, having the absolute freedom to live anywhere in the world, and joining this group known as the new rich. It's a pretty wild promise, right? The idea of working just 4 hours a week while pulling in a full-time or even exceptional income. It sounds absolutely amazing, but, naturally, it also sounds kind of like a scam.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Is it actually possible to get rich working just 4 hours a week? Well, if we're being completely honest here, if this was just some simple 6-month magic trick that literally anyone could pull off effortlessly, every second person you know would be sitting on a beach in Goa right now, laptop open, sipping a cold drink, right? The original source points out that most people won't hit this in 6 months, mostly because it's super easy to mistake a catchy title for a magic pill. So yes, it is entirely possible. But we really need to validate that natural skepticism you're probably feeling right now. To get to the bottom of this whole thing, here is exactly what we're going to uncover today. We're bypassing all that get-rich-quick illusion to give you a highly actionable, realistic blueprint. We'll look at truth or scam, real versus fake wealth, the 80-20 rule, systems and outsourcing, lifestyle design, and finally, freedom from the golden cage. Let's get right into it.
All right, Section 1, Truth or Scam, focusing on the foundation of separating your time from your income. Now, what's really interesting about this next bit is, well, just because something is insanely difficult doesn't mean it's a scam. I mean, climbing Mount Everest is incredibly difficult, but Everest isn't a lie. Breaking the link between your time and your money takes serious skills, solid systems, and honestly, years of overcoming failures. It's not just raw motivation. Let's look at a concrete example. On side A, we have Rohan. Now, Rohan makes a massive 30 lakh rupees a year. Huge, right? But he works 80 hours a week, sits in brutal traffic, deals with constant meetings, and is under high stress. Plus, he's got an 80,000 rupee monthly EMI for his house, expensive car payments, the whole shebang of high city living costs. By the end of the year, his bank account is basically running on fumes. Now flip over to side B. Here we have a much lower income, 6 lakh rupees a year. But this person is only working 10 hours a week, living in a smaller town with way lower expenses, and has total time and location freedom. So tell me, who is truly wealthier here? It really kind of turns our traditional metrics of success completely upside down.
That brings us to Section 2, Real versus Fake Wealth, where we break down absolute versus relative income. Okay, so absolute income is literally just the raw number on your paycheck. But relative income, that factors in how much time it takes to earn it and the actual freedom it buys you. To really highlight how absolutely crucial this distinction is, consider this highly exaggerated but kind of brilliant scenario. Imagine I offer you a job in a city like Aurangabad, paying a massive 1 crore rupees per month. You'd be thrilled, right? Sign me up. But then you move there and you find out a simple cup of tea costs 20 lakh rupees, a plate of poha, 40 lakh, and renting a single room is 3 crore rupees a month. Suddenly, that massive 1 crore salary is completely useless. A giant number on a paycheck means absolutely zero if your expenses and location just completely devour your purchasing power.
So, what does this all mean? The crucial takeaway here is that true wealth is actually a formula. It's your income plus the time spent earning it, plus the choices that money generates. The real goal here is to build an income model that doesn't rely entirely on your physical presence. Like, for instance, if you're a tutor who gets paid by the hour, your income is forever chained to your time. But if that exact same tutor creates a recorded digital course, they do the heavy lifting once, and they can sell it to thousands of people over and over again. That digital product generates choices, because it literally separates their income from physical time.
Moving right along to Section 3, the 80-20 rule, and the whole concept of elimination and doing the right work. You know what, society loves to tell us that being busy is the exact same thing as being effective, but they are worlds apart. Enter the 80-20 principle. It basically states that roughly 20% of your vital efforts yield 80% of your actual results. Think of a shopkeeper who proudly brags about working a 12-hour day, but in reality, he sits there for 8 hours waiting for customers, 2 hours scrolling on his phone, 1 hour rearranging unsold inventory, and only actually does about 1 hour of real revenue-generating work. Or think about a content creator who spends days tweaking video descriptions and spamming links everywhere, when actually 90% of their views come purely from optimizing an eye-catching thumbnail and a killer first 30 seconds of their video. Finding that vital 20%, that is where true leverage lives.
Let's try a quick thought experiment. Imagine, and heaven forbid this happens, but imagine you had a sudden health scare, and your doctor gave you a super strict ultimatum. You are only allowed to work exactly 2 hours a day. What would you actually do in those 2 hours? I guarantee you, suddenly all those trivial tasks, checking emails for the 5th time, continuously reorganizing your desk, or endlessly tweaking your company logo, they just completely vanish. Posing extreme questions like this forces us to instantly identify what actually matters.
Okay, Section 4. The truth of systems and outsourcing and how you actually go about buying back your time.
Now, a huge myth out there is that handing off work makes your life instantly easier on day one. Spoiler alert, it doesn't. Initially, it's usually more work because you have to train people and fix their mistakes. But, and this brilliantly illustrates the point, consider the opportunity cost of doing everything yourself just to avoid that initial friction. Imagine a business owner who decides to spend his entire Sunday painting his own shop just to save 2,000 rupees. He feels super proud of those savings. But what if, during that exact same time, he could have made 10 sales calls that would have brought in 20,000 rupees? By saving 2,000 rupees, he literally lost 18,000. Doing cheap work yourself literally cost you money and lost opportunities.
To avoid creating a total chaotic mess when you try to buy back your time, you absolutely must follow this exact order. It's called the golden sequence. Step 1. Eliminate what doesn't matter. Just cut it. Step 2. Simplify what remains. Step 3. Automate what software can handle. And only then, Step 4. Outsource to a human. I can't stress this enough. The absolute biggest mistake people make is skipping straight to Step 3. They automate a completely useless process just to do a bad job faster. Don't do that.
This brings us to Section 5, lifestyle design and mini retirements, why you absolutely shouldn't wait until you're 65. For generations, we've basically been sold this depressing life plan. Work like a slave for 40 years just to hopefully enjoy a few years of old age at 65. But let's be real. What is the guarantee that at 65 you'll still have your health, your energy, or even your friends around to enjoy it with you? There isn't one. So instead of hoarding all your freedom for the end of your life, the concept here is to design your life around mini retirements. Now let's be clear, you do not need to be a millionaire jetting off to Europe to do this. It's way more practical. It means taking shorter, intentional breaks throughout your life. That could be taking a month off between big projects, going on a dedicated 3-day retreat every quarter, or even just systematically reducing your workload to 4 days a week. It's about breaking that exhausting cycle of only living for Saturdays and dreading every single Monday morning.
And finally, Section 6, freedom from the golden cage by designing your life first.
So here's a crazy psychological twist. When people actually get close to this kind of freedom, they often panic. Why? Because their entire identity is completely tied up in their job. They don't know what they would do without it. The reality is, freedom without purpose quickly turns into sheer boredom. Most of us go about this completely backwards. We build a career, start getting a steady salary, and then we build a lifestyle to match that salary. You know, the big EMI, the fancy cars, the air-conditioned office. Eventually, that lifestyle turns into a golden cage. Sure, it's incredibly comfortable, but make no mistake, you are still trapped inside it, totally unable to walk away because the overhead is just too high.
So how do we actually open that cage door? Well, here is the grounded, realistic takeaway. No, you shouldn't march into the office and quit your job tomorrow. That's a total recipe for disaster. Instead, you need to start building options. You build a robust emergency fund. You go out and learn a new, highly valuable skill. You cultivate a side income. You ruthlessly lower those unnecessary expenses, and you start mastering work that isn't tied to one specific location. When you start doing these things, your day job totally transforms. It stops being this terrifying necessity for survival and simply becomes a choice.
And that leaves us with this final, vital thought to reflect on today. Take a hard look at your current trajectory. Are you actively building a life of freedom, or are you just working tirelessly to decorate a golden cage? It's a tough question, for sure, but it is the exact question you need to ask if you want to start actually designing the lifestyle you want. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I really hope this gives you the tools to start reclaiming your time.